Hello and welcome back to Loren, the Amazon Princess. Sorry for not uploading anything last night. I'm afraid I had a quite spectacular headache and just wasn't in the mood. So, let's check out the inventory. Standard short sword. Okay, I'm probably just going to flog that. Cloak of the Lizard King, which appears to be good for mages. So let's give it to... Yeah, that's completely better in every way. Which is fine. How many party members have I got these days? I've got a few. Admittedly, my two healers have vanished, which is annoying, but you know, deal with what you've got. Okay, so I can visit the castle. I'm not going to leave yet because I think there's a few bits and bobs I can do here. So let's go to the castle. Commander Brazer, you have served the Citadel well, I assume. I am overjoyed at your return, Your Majesty. That's a very different attitude from before. Brazer sputtered in anger. What do you mean, Eleanor? She was quick to label you as dead and passed the crown to Loren. Karen and Brazer looked at each other for a moment, until Brazer looked at the ground. I am sure Brazer had her reasons, and they were wise ones. You honour me. Eleanor still felt uneasy with Brazer, even though Karen had no issue with her. Did Brazer know, I wonder? I actually wonder if Brazer knew what her queen had done and deliberately chose to label her as dead at her own wish. Anywho, let's do some training with Brazer. Ready to train with me and my goblin slaves? I won't go easy, I'm warning you. 2v2, 2v2... Let's do a 4v4 fight. Get you, and... primary. Okay. Let's get rid of those two, put the primary tank back in. Wow, they're a lot faster than I am. Okay, so I now get use of everybody. So let's weaken Brazer a bit. Weaken the goblin a bit. Wow, that guy's tough. That guy's really bloody tough. Okay, let's see if we can kill him.
I hope this is slightly uncomfortable.
Ridiculously close. Okay, I want you to taunt. And you get another move, so let's shield defense. Actually, Elnor's going to get another chance to hit, so that's okay. Dual strike on him. You have a bow so you can hit him. Okay, that takes their mage out of the equation, which is useful. Wow, he's taking a lot of fire. Okay, let's taunt again. He's gonna go down next. Actually, use a potion on him, can't I? Total of 40% HP. Ah, let's resurrect. 60%. Healing for 100 HP. Now let's use Life Spell. Get it properly back in the fight. And let's use Blizzard again to do a bit of damage over here. Okay, back to our old favourite of focus everything we've got onto one enemy. Oh, that's bad. Wow, she hits hard.
Keep up next time.
Okay, that's one enemy down. Okay, I want you to defend. Okay. That seems to be my best option.
Try this on for size.
Decent damage over there. Let's see. This is actually going to be a close fight. Oh, gee. I hate it when that happens. And he's just so close to going down. Right. He should be able to hit them both for some damage, so... She is really resistant to anything I throw at her. Okay.
Whoosh!
Okay, we should be able to beat her. Yeah, we
They should
can.
have surrendered when they had the chance.
That was quite a good fight, actually. So, decent amount of XP. Some gems, which we can sell. Fabulous. You're really in top form today, but I demand a rematch. Defeated Brazer in a fight. Cool. I'm not going to do another training with Brazer because that was quite tricky and I'm not in the mood for a ridiculously difficult fight, so let's have a look-see. Okay, I've currently got her dual wielding, but I think I'm going to switch her up to a two-handed weapon. Preferably a blade. One-handed. Seriously, we've got no two-handed swords here. Ah, there we go. Standard two-handed sword. So sell that. Sell that. Sell that. Sell those. Sell those. Okay. What's he wearing? Well, because he could use it. If I'm using him as my primary, he could use some heavier armor and a decent helm. Let's get him a plate helm. Buy one plate helm. Chain boots of fire. Leather armor. What? No plate armor yet? I don't know. Build yourselves fine armors. Anyway, back to her. Let's get her that standard two-handed sword, I think. Defense. Belt of the Battle Mage. What's a thing meant to boost magic and my mage can't even equip it? Anywho, I think that'll do shopping for now. I just want to equip that stuff. Where's he going? There he is. And what's the other thing? Ah, yes, the 200 sword for Eleanor. Let's equip the 200 sword. Okay. That'll do for now, I think. Right, so we're now going to head out. Now, from what I suspect this game's about to become very Dragon Age Origins-y, in terms of I'll be able to go to the different factions and try and get their help to battle this demon horde. Which is fine, I love Dragon Age Origins as a game, it's absolutely fantastic, so let's see if this game can pull off that same technique. Wow! Okay, it's opened up a lot more. So, let's see... That, yeah, because I'm pretty sure it did say that there's a couple of people I can get as characters, but I require the DLC, which includes Chambara, things like that. So, okay, let's start with the elves, I think. Random encounter, fight or skip. Yeah, let's fight these people. Oh, bugger, my party setup's still on 4x4. Oh, that's an interesting thing, they can push me back. That's kind of cool. Anyway. Okay. Yep, let's Ice Blast and try and do as much damage to the front row as possible. Cookie, you will taunt. Gets but actually from the back row she can still strike, so let's do that. Then you have taunted, so you will shield wall. Kill him. Taunt again. Strike. Pommel strike. Hit that
Try
back
this
row
on for
with
size.
frost damage. Strike. Okay, so they're both using attacks that hit multiple people. Fine. That could well be fatal, Sam. Oh, come on! Oh, it's always aggravating when they come out of it with like 1 health.
One more time!
Yeah, well. Okay, so that guy's fallen back. Let's try him. So I can't hit them both unless I use... Actually, that could well kill them both.
I hope
so
this is
burn,
slightly uncomfortable.
burn. And
Let's move on.
dead! Fabulous. Ooh, new bow. That's actually quite nice. I'll have to give that to, what's her name? To Dora. The party was able to enter the forest and was escorted to the Elven forest capital after showing them Myr's glowing flower. The human party members wore heavy robes to disguise themselves, just in case. By the grand tree, they sought for the Elder Druid. Myr quickly appeared for them, with a heavy look. I am so glad you've come. I have unfortunate news. Please don't say what I think you're about to say. The Elders, they will not listen to reason. I have exhausted all of my resources, all of my magic, and every ounce of persuasion in me, but they still refuse to believe that the humans did not start this war. They wish to see the human race extinct so badly. I hardly think that is a fair statement, given how the Empire has made several actual movements to cleanse the world of elves. Calm yourselves. Do not forget that our goal is peace between your two races. I apologize. The truth of the matter is that the Elders cannot believe that the demons would instigate the war. They believe they are not capable of such a plan, as the only time in history they were ever clever enough was under the rule of Faust. Ain't that what the Archwizard kept yapping about? Faust has returned and is controlling them again. I've told them the theory that Faust has returned. They refuse to believe that too. Why the blast not? Because of the manner that Faust was originally defeated. He is a possessed suit of armour, and when he was first defeated in the Old War, his armour was entombed and sealed permanently. Sorry if I nudged the microphone there. Is it possible that the seals have failed? The seals were made by men. Only the gods have perfection in what they do. We need your people to end this war, and make a treaty with the Empire. What will it take? The Elders are not fools, and will see reason in time. They are frightened at the moment, so I believe if we show them solid proof that Faust has risen again, then they will reconsider this war. All we have to do is prove that Faust is alive, without a doubt. Convince the Elders. That'll be an easy quest. But these old guys made sure that that wouldn't happen ever again, didn't they? That is why the Elders cannot believe he is reincarnated. It is difficult for me to believe too. Wasn't that old guy talking about how he defeated Faust back then? I'm pretty sure he said something like that in between all the blathering and accusing me of stuff. Yes, Alphysmo did say that he brought down that demon once. He may know more about proving his existence. Let's go find him then. Okay, excellent. I think I'm going to camp now. Eleanor stirred from her sleep. Her mouth had gone dry and she woke in the middle of the night for water. When she got up, she saw Loren sitting on a fur pelt, looking up at the stars. Mom? Loren looked over at her, but she was not startled. I am guarding the campsite. You may rest. You haven't been to sleep yet. Loren looked back up at the stars with no response, which told Eleanor the answer. I will guard now, so you can sleep. She shook her head. Why not? I cannot. Worried about the war. How do you fall asleep at night? Eleanor blinked and looked around, not expecting such a question. It is not always an easy task, but if I distract my mind from my problems, I drift away soon enough. How can you get comfortable without a mound of fur? Do the insects not bite you? Don't you hear the creatures calling in the night, or feel the elements sting you? No lavender grows in these plains, so the air smells of filth. People here are crude, disrespectful, and allowed to roam free like animals. I am woken unceremoniously by the sun, beasts on my own hunger for food that is not terrible. and every time I lie down I keep awake in fear of unchecked bandits and demons. So I ask again, how is it that you can sleep at night? Eleanor smiled to herself. Why are you smiling? I believe you're homesick. Excuse me? You miss the Citadel. Loren faced away. I do not. If you were homesick, that would make sense. You spent your entire life restricted to its walls. It's the only way you know how to live, or how to sleep. Loren kept staring intently ahead of her, refusing to acknowledge Eleanor. Eleanor sighed and moved away from Loren, back to her bed. She stared at it briefly, and then picked it up. Princess, you may have my fur, should you wish to sleep tonight. Loren finally looked back at her. Eleanor placed the fur pelt next to the one Loren was sitting on. No, wait, take it back. You need to sleep tonight so you don't kill yourself tomorrow. I'll sleep. How? Take back your fur. Eleanor smirked again. I am homesick as well, Majesty. In the Citadel I slept on nothing. Loren gawked at Eleanor, as she laid on the ground and got comfortable. Loren had a hard time processing the idea of sleeping with no bedding. She continued to watch Eleanor, till the elf closed her eyes, and only then did she believe it. She turned back to her own fur and felt the hair upon it with a forced stroke. 2 furs definitely felt better than just one, but she had to be sure. Loren laid her back down on the 2 furs and stared up at the stars. She was much more comfortable, but at the expense of Eleanor. But she was her servant. She was supposed to make sacrifices for her. Loren hung on to the fact that Eleanor was a servant. Servants slept in the slave pen. They slept on the ground. The slave pen must not have had furs. Loren shoved her eyes closed. She tried very hard to never think about the slave pen. Once in her whole life, she never wanted to consider them, because she was afraid that if she did, she would feel as she did at the moment. Loren turned on her side and watched Eleanor sleeping. She watched her chest rise and fall with each slow breath, and how her hair fell over her eyes. She considered waking her, just to give her the fur back, but her eyelids were too heavy as she fell asleep. Yo-ho-ho! Sorry, my voice is starting to get a bit hoarse. Incidentally, since the last time I actually played this, I did look up the quote-unquote uncensored version of this game. To the best of my knowledge, the only thing it alters is the armour designs get even sillier. In particular, the green bits in Loren's armour here, they're not there in the quote-unquote uncensored version. That's the only difference I've actually noted, and it's not worth me getting it just for that, because, well, I like to keep a consistency in my playthroughs. So let's have a chat with everybody. I'm so sorry, my voice is feeling a bit hoarse this morning. That old man said you won many tournaments. What does he mean by that? It means exactly what it sounds like. I fought in many combative tournaments, for honour and for glory. I battled men, elves, wizards, and won. I train every waking moment, and take every challenge presented to me. That is how I've become the man I am today. There is no tournament of arms that I have not won, so I was named Grimoire's greatest warrior. Which explains why you had high hopes for the Ember Blade. Yes, I know I am stronger than your Amazon mistress, but I still cannot gain the sword's favour. Careful what you say. You may have more physical strength than Loren, but you will never be stronger-willed. Perhaps you misunderstood what it truly means to be great. Their eyes were on fire as they glared at each other. Come here for a second. Ramus beckoned Eleanor to his side, looking around, checking if the coast was clear. Can I ask you something? Nothing personal, just wondering your opinion. Of course you can. I just wanted to ask, what you thought of Dora? Dora? Why, is there something wrong with her? Wrong? Now why would you say that? That's why I'm asking you. No, I just wanted to know how you liked her. I think she's a fine person. A bit hyperactive at times, which is good, aren't you? Yeah. She's a thief, though, ain't she? I think so. She would never admit it. That's a rough life. I wonder what got her so low that she had to start stealing. And what if she got caught? Blast, that would be downright terrible. The thought of her wasting away in some prison cell makes my bones sad. You seem to care a lot about her. Ugh, do I? Is it that obvious? Well, Most would probably resent her for her thievery, but you are choosing concern instead. That says a lot. I couldn't hate her for something as small as that. Why? Why? Why not? I was just curious. You really do like her a lot. Does she feel the same about you? I don't know. Does she? I don't know why she'd like a guy like me. Do you think she does? Why don't you go ask her? What? Don't be daft. Go ask her. Right, yeah, like it's that easy. So bright, this one. Brilliant. Just go ask. What are you mumbling? Ramus sighed and adjusted his axe. What? I ain't saying nothing. Oh dear. Perfectly willing to face down a horde of bandits, scared to talk to a girl. Yeah, I know that feeling. Another shooter. That new elf, he shoots a bow too. A crossbow, I believe. Yeah, it's still bad accuracy though. I know a bow is totally more difficult than his fancy machine. I wonder. He'll probably disagree. Oh, of course he'd disagree. He thinks he's the best at everything, but I'll show him. I've totally got a better shot. I think he'd love a legitimate competition. He's trying to find them in everything anyway. And it's about time he lost. Dora stretched her bowstring with a devious smile. Well, she's going to do that. Let's remember to give her that swanky bow. So if I go to there, hunting bow, yep, that bow is better in almost every way. It's a little slower, but that's okay. Because you're still using your swanky magic sword, aren't you? Good. Can't drop it. One-handed weapon, fine. Let's talk to Loren. Loren was still quiet after her mother was found. Elnor had anticipated that Loren would be happy, and she might, against all the odds, smile. Yet she was still incredibly sombre, almost as if the very sight of her mother depressed her. Elnor approached her in hopes of comforting her. I brought you food. Loren only barely raised her eyes to see the platter. I am not hungry. Are you regretting finding your mother? Loren now gave Elnor her full attention. How dare you say that? This is just my opinion, but you are not relieved at all that you found her. Instead, you're acting like she's dead. Forgive my forwardness, but I don't understand. My mother is not dead because I saved her. But who you found was not your mother. Is that how you feel? Loren's mouth dropped open. She was almost too offended to speak. I'm sorry, that was very presumptive of me. You do not know the relationship I have with my mother. This is perfectly normal. Our lives have returned as they were before. Elnor took in a deep breath, considering that the queen and princess relationship might actually be as tortured as it was now. There was no way she could truly know. You're right, I should not have said anything. Loren shifted uncomfortably and turned away, too eager for her to leave. Elnor had opened up one of the most difficult dialogues. Yeah, princesses and queens. Tricky relationships. My queen, how do you fare? Karen did not lift her eyes from the ground. I will live. She continued to stare deeply into the ground. Elnor swallowed while searching for the right words. That is okay, your highness. You are allowed to live. Karen finally looked up and met eyes with the elf. Elnor feared that she had said the wrong thing. May the great mothers judge me. Elnor did not understand what this meant, but she hoped that her queen would find some solace in her ancestors' spirits. It was clear that her heart was in deep mourning, and that she may not recover from it if she let it consume her. She decided to leave Karen in peace. Poor Queen Karen. If you can cast all elements, why is Firestarter your surname? Oh, yeah, I gave that to myself. It's not really a family name. Why don't you use your real family name? I don't know it. Oh, no, I'm sure there's a good reason for that. No, you still win the Whose Life Was the Worst contest. No use me even competing. You can't tell me. I didn't have a family name because I didn't have a family. Yes, it's that simple. Not at all. You were orphaned. I think so. I don't have any memories of them. I just remember growing up in the academy. What academy? Oh, the Lothar Wizard Academy. It's a stupid place, so let's not talk about it. All right. What about your given name, Draco? I gave that to myself too. Kind of. So you had a name before you started calling yourself Draco. That name was stupid too. I don't want to talk about it either. Kind of. Oh, well, I did this cool trick back there where I'd swallow a fireball and shoot a stream of fire out of my nose. Didn't that hurt? A little. But all the kids thought it was cool. They called me a dragon and it was awesome. You'd swallow fire to be popular. I burnt out all my nose hairs too, so added bonus. Okay, Draco's probably my favourite character in this. You're a druid. That's correct. I know that the druids are forest sprites, but since I was raised mostly in the citadel, I do not know as much about them as most elves. Could you tell me more about your kind? I'm not particularly sure how best to describe my nature. I'm not truly a sprite like the nymphs, but I am also born different from humans and elves. I feel as if I am one with the forest, as if I am the forest, like I am her voice. But the term druid has been applied to anyone who studies and is capable of forest magic, and that is what my lineage is called. I know it's common to think of me as a magical creature born from a flower, but druids are similar to both humans and elves. I was born from my mother's womb, not a giant flower like a nymph. How interesting. I had no idea. We are not too different, I believe. That's my thought as well. How exactly do you know Elder Druid Mare? Elder Druid, right. Our mother was an Elder Druid. Mare, maybe with time. So you are siblings, but I have beautiful blonde hair and she does not. I'm glad you've noticed. No, I am not really the son of a druid. Not sure I would want to be either. Hearing the forest as they do seems like more of a burden than anything else. So how did you come under Mer's mother's care? Ray gnashed his teeth while thinking about it. I am told that the Dark Elves murdered my parents and left me as a babe on the forest floor. That's all kinds of evil. That's what Dark Elves are. Evil. Only demons are evil in this world. You can't pass judgment on all Dark Elves so easily. Yes, I can. They are part demon. If nothing else, I believe I'm entitled to some prejudice in this matter, don't you think? No, I don't. Ray pursed his lips and stared at Eleanor in silence. Never mind. You needn't look so harsh. You might develop wrinkles scowling so much. She glared harder. Okay, so he's got some kind of understandable prejudice. So if I got it all in one screen... Okay, we're still missing a couple over here and a couple... Yeah, because I think Alphysmo was over here before, so I still feel like we're missing a party member or two over here. Alright, nobody's come forward with character quests yet. So... Okay, I think that's everything I can do here. Let's leave. So, now I think we should probably head to Grimoire. The party used the medallion to pass the new security posts into the heavily guarded city of Grimoire. Even though they presented the medallion to the gate guards, they still had to detain the elves in the party before letting Loren and the others through. To their dismay, the elves were asked to wait with the guard until Loren's return. Do not be afraid, Eleanor. You will return to me shortly, or I will see to it this city burns. The elf woman exhaled sharply from how positive her mistress sounded before she left. The reassurance in Loren's eyes, however, gave her some little comfort about the situation. But Eleanor felt detached from her mistress almost immediately after she disappeared into Grimoire. In the beginning she was just a slave, but now she felt like she was truly a player in this conflict, and to be stuck in the outskirts of it all bothered her immensely. She stood with Draco and Ray inside a cruel cell they were locked into by the guards. I'm getting used to captivity. It's not so hard after so many times. We should not be here. That medallion the old wizard gave us should have allowed for us for passage. That coin would have been worthless to a grieving family member seeking revenge on any elf they saw. Your mistress is keeping you here for your own safety. I am her second in command. I should be by her side. A heavy clinking sound came from the cell door by Ray. He stepped aside and pushed it open. Well then, go to her. How did you... You may not be a wizard, but this elf is magic. With Ray's guidance, they were able to easily sneak out of the crude dungeon and into Grimoire. They thought to check the wizard's tower first for Alphysmo. When they got there, Draco and Eleanor were upset to see the entrance so heavily guarded. This didn't faze Ray, who quickly started scaling the stone walls. Never mind, he's just insane. Shh! Follow me if you want to get inside the temple. Our pout is out there, since you like doing that. Climb a wall and sneak inside like some proper. Well, no thanks, I'll just be pouting. Eleanor? Elnor had already started getting a foothold in the stone and climbing after Ray. Draco puffed out his cheeks in defiance. If I weren't wearing a robe, I'd climb up there and bonk you two in the head. Just keep quiet and we'll be back for you soon. Oh, that sounds familiar. Oh, that's what Loren said, and you freaked out, and now you're sneaking into the Grand Wizard's tower. Ray and Elnor climbed higher and slipped in through a window. Once inside, they took to the rafters and looked for Alphysmo's room. Elnor struggled to keep up with Ray as he skillfully navigated into the dark on narrow beams. Several times he had to stop and wait for her to catch up, but he did so with a hint of a smile, as if he were leaving her behind on purpose. Elnor made sure to scold him for moving too quickly. Right, before I go on to the next bit, I have just noticed that my timer has gone over a little bit for this part, so I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching this part, which I have no clue what number it was, and I will see you in the next part.